What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. B motherfucking C coming at you just hours away from Smackdown Live. Smackdown 4/19/24. Actually a big show tonight with two mega matches. One for the championship, the other with major championship implications on the line. We also expect a massive storyline to continue to develop and new championships we will be seeing tonight. We'll talk all about it in the Smackdown preview coming up in this very upload. We're also going to talk, I have a lot of numbers for you guys, man. From Smackdown to Raw to NXT to AEW, I have all the ratings. Now that WrestleMania is in the rear view, this is where we expect numbers to kind of drop off. It's not if, it's by how much. Was there any real big losers this week? Was it NXT? Was it AEW? Was it any of WWE's two big shows, Raw or SmackDown? I have the numbers. Some of you guys don't like to talk ratings. Earmuffs! But we gotta talk about it. It's coming up in this upload. We're also gonna talk WWE working with other promotions and why Julia is just the centerpiece in something much grander. In the scheme of it all, man. Julia is just that first domino to fall. We'll cover it all and a lot more. The only thing left to do is to talk about it. So let's get amplified. All right, unit, we're going to jump right into this first story. WWE working with New Japan startup promotion Marigold. This is from an article that just came out from Sports Illustrated, a few paragraphs from Fernando Quills Jr. of Sports Illustrated. Just a few paragraphs, and I quote, "Former Stardom promoter Rossi Agawa has launched the new Dream Star Fighting Marigold promotion. The company's first show will take place May 20th in Tokyo, Japan. Reports indicate there is a working agreement between WWE and Marigold. The report notes that Marigold's top star Julia and Rossi were sent to Philadelphia for WrestleMania 40 weekend on WWE's behalf to get a deal done. Julia, who did appear in the crowd during NXT Stand and Deliver, is expected to eventually move to the United States to be a full-time member of the WWE roster. The report notes that through the agreement, Marigold is expecting Julia to be able to work a few big shows still in Japan every year. It was also noted in the report that Julia is expected to split time with NXT and Marigold before she gains full-time status with the WWE. The report goes on to say Rossi is hoping to get former WWE Women's Champion Io Sky and one half of the WWE Women's Tag title holders Kairi Sane to perform under the Marigold banner for a major summer show. Whether or not that will come to fruition remains to be seen," end quote. So this gives us great insight on many things. First and foremost, how WWE was even able to land Julia. Because we know she wanted to work with the WWE, but she had so much going for her in Japan. No reason really to leave, especially her relationship and how solid it is with Rossi. And he's starting up this new promotion. She had the whole world in her hands over in Japan. No reason to take off and start a whole new life over in the United States. So this gives us great insight. There was something much bigger at play, and Julia is a massive part of this. So, and if you're not familiar with the Julia's work, you really got to check out a lot of her. I would say some, but you got to check out a lot of her work. She's just one of those individuals that just captivate you, like a Mercedes Moné, Sasha Banks type deal, or Athena, Ember Moon. They wrestle and you're in awe. And Julia, the last PWI 250 for the ladies, I believe Julia was ranked number 2 in the world as the greatest female wrestler. I believe she was only behind Rhea Ripley, and even that was highly debatable to many fans. So Julia is a massive land. You gotta believe the only way that deal truly got done is if Julia can continue to work with Japan and this new startup by Rossi, Marigold, can get people like Io and Kari, and who knows who else down the pipeline. Very interesting. This is a big working relationship. This is the first of its kind for Paul Levesque McMahon. Now, I should note that you're probably going to see articles like Vincent Kennedy McMahon would never do anything like this, work with other promotions. That's not entirely true, though. He used to work with ECW all the time. He brought in ECW to invade WWF RAW at the time and was financing them a lot behind the scenes. Way more than what you saw on camera and on the shows. Vince was working heavily with ECW, even financing them. And most of the time, he didn't even ask for anything in return. He didn't want their wrestlers. He wanted nothing. To this day, Paul Heyman says he wasn't quite sure why he was. Vince McMahon even said the same thing. He wasn't sure why he was helping them out or bringing them onto his cable primetime show. And over the decades, he has actually worked many times with Japan. But this is entirely different for sure. And it remains to be seen how vivid this relationship is between WWE and Marigold and maybe other promotions down the line. I do believe there is a line between working with other promotions and still keeping distance and having that healthy competition. For instance, if anybody's thinking WWE and AEW are going to work together in the future, if that's ever the case, I would hope that's bare minimum, right? Because that is something you cannot wear out. Because you take that away, you take away the competitional aspect, and then we're right back where we started, where without competition, nobody's really thriving at their best. That's why you never saw WWF and WCW working together. ECW and WWF, okay. Even if WCW and ECW were going to work together, okay. Not WWF and WCW. Once you do that, it's done. We saw that when WWF bought WCW, and everything fell flat afterwards. So there's a fine line. It's cool to work with other promotions, and then there's kind of like maybe we shouldn't, right? For the health of the industry. Interesting. I don't think many people realized how pivotal and vital Julia was in all of this. I call her the centerpiece in this whole relationship between WWE and Japan. Marigold, between Paul Levesque McMahon and Rossi. Interesting to see where this all leads. Moving on, I have numbers, ratings, earmuffs, if you don't want to hear it. This is usually the time where, right, WrestleMania's done, and then the post shows are done, and then you have the following week, right, where everything starts to settle down. And it's not if numbers are going to go down, it's just by how much. Hopefully you kept a lot of that audience, those casual fans, those lapsed fans. Hopefully you were able to keep a lot of those. Sometimes that's just not most times that's just not the case. So I'll start with Smackdown because this was still the post-Mania show. So you're still going to see a decent number. It's tonight's show that's going to be interesting. Tonight is the number where we could see a big drop-off back to like 2-2. They're probably hoping no less than 2-3. But we'll find that out, obviously, later this weekend. But last week's post-WrestleMania Smackdown pulled in 2.499, basically a 2.5. I don't like giving that extra 0.001, right? You got to earn it. But that's a pretty decent number to be right there at 2.5 for the post-Mania show. You went on to Monday Night Raw. And by the way, that Smackdown pulled a whopping 0.76 demo. 18-49. Now, going on to Monday Night Raw, they lost over 500,000 viewers from last week. Last week, post-WrestleMania, 2.36 with a whopping 0.83 demo, 18-49. 0.83 demo and a 2.36 last week. This week's Monday Night Raw pulled a 1.8 rating and a 0.61 demo. They were down nearly 25% in the demo, and over 500,000 people did not come back this week. So if they lose another 20 to 40,000 viewers, they're right back to where they were before WrestleMania. And that always sucks to see, because it's like, damn, you have their attention. You have them all right there. You have to give a reason for them to keep tuning in. And Monday Night Raw just didn't do that. 1.8 with a 0.61 demo. Now you go on to NXT. Last week they pulled 647,000 post WrestleMania with a 0.19 demo. This week NXT went down further. They lost another 22,000 viewers. NXT came in at 625K with a 0.17 demo, so they also dropped a couple points in the demo. NXT continues to fall. AEW Dynamite pulled 762,000 viewers this week with a 0.26 demo. That is a massive drop off from last week's show, which pulled 819,000 viewers with a 0.30 demo. So last week's demo, 0.30, this week, 0.26, a 4-point drop off. And number-wise, 819K last week, 762 this week. So let me do my Steiner math. That is 38, 48. What's that? Roughly 57,000 viewer drop off from last week. And a lot of people believe because they were hovering around 800,000 anyway, even less than the last couple weeks. So a lot of people thought that the CM Punk stunt is what even got them over 800. So without that, you have to think, what would AEW have pulled last week? But they came right back crashing down to normality with 762. And that's what I told you guys. The trajectory for AEW showed you that by the end of the year, their new normal was going to be roughly 750,000 viewers. What we did not expect is for them to drop off this quickly, because what's happening is they're hovering 750 already, and it's April. So by the end of summer, their new normal could now be 725 to 750. And you could even look at it like that's if they're lucky. So AEW has massive issues right now with maintaining even their core audience. And I got to tell you, that Dynasty card looks really good, by the way. And the Swerve and Samoa Joe stuff has been really good. The audience just doesn't care. So it's almost like you can't even blame Tony Khan for trying the CM Punk stunt. He's trying everything, it ain't working. You're going to have to go back to the creative boards and really draw up something so unique, so special. You'll never do like an NWO thing again. But you got to think of an idea that is so outside the box that it really reinvigorates the pro wrestling world and it puts you on the map. That's what Tony Khan has to do for AEW. Really do something fun, something unique, something that's going to captivate. 762. Okay, now that's the numbers, guys. See, that wasn't that bad. We ripped the Band-Aid right off. Take off the earmuffs. We're going into the Smackdown preview now. Smackdown, April 19, 2024. Again, this is a big show on paper. Two main reasons, or two big matchups, right? The main event, unless they start the show with it, maybe they put the women's championship match in the main event, but we'll just say for now, the main event, LA Knight versus AJ Styles. This is a WrestleMania rematch, but with way more on the line, because the winner of this match gets a championship opportunity against Cody Rhodes. There was two little mini triple threats last week. The winner of those two matches face each other this week. AJ Styles won his match. LA Knight won his match. And here we are. The winner of tonight faces Cody Rhodes for that title. That's a massive matchup tonight. You would think, right, at this juncture, Cody Rhodes, I can speak. More coffee, BC. At this juncture, Cody Rhodes needs to face a top heel, right? It does no good to put another top face in there with Cody, so you have to think Styles wins this match. On top of that, LA Knight just beat Styles less than 2 weeks ago at WrestleMania. So you kind of got to give one back over to Styles, right? Especially if, let's face it, no matter who it is, Cody Rhodes is not losing to either of these dudes. You're not going to make, after almost 4 years of being champion with Roman Reigns, the guy that beats him is so transitional that he loses it 2 weeks later. I don't care if it's LA Knight or AJ Styles. Cody's not walking away without that title. It would suck to see Styles lose two big matchups within a month, but there's no... You would think it has to be a heel, which has to be Styles. He gets the big W back from LA Knight, and then he has to lose to Cody Rhodes. I see no benefit to having a face versus face match, AJ Styles or LA Knight versus Cody, and then LA Knight just dropping a match to Cody. I don't see what that would do. You got to stick with the heel in this one. Anyway, that's a big matchup tonight. The second really big matchup tonight is a women's championship match. This is Bayley versus Naomi. And you had a number one contenders match last week, kind of, right? Tiffany Stratton versus Naomi. Tiffany beat Naomi in the past. Naomi got her W back from Tiffany last week. Naomi is taking on Bayley tonight for that championship. I just said, kind of stay away from face versus face matchups when the champion just gets the title. WWE did not follow that philosophy. They're going to throw Naomi right in there with Bayley. I would love to see Tiffany Stratton versus Bayley right from the jump. You do not wait with a match like this. There is no business doing that. Tiffany take the L, right? Bayley, a massive W over Tiffany. Those type of losses will put you on the map. I promise you. When you get a heel that is being cheered as much as Tiffany, right? And I'm not saying lose every match or a bunch of matches, but there are certain losses that if you take that L, it's only going to benefit you. It's going to put you on the map. It's going to catapult you, man. Tiffany versus Bayley. Tiffany had a big pay-per-view, right? Put it over in, what's next? Is it France Backlash? You put Tiffany on the L side of things. Bayley, you put a good performance because I know they would put on such a phenomenal match. And in defeat, Tiffany would find great victory. I would catapult Tiffany Bayley one-on-one. I just don't think they're going to do that. However, you could see a triple threat match. I do not obviously see Naomi walking out with this title. Bayley just got it at WrestleMania. Same situation as Cody. Whether it's LA Knight or Cody, neither can walk away with the title. It has to be Cody. Same thing with Bayley, dude. There's no way. It doesn't matter. Naomi, we love Naomi. She's incredible. There's no way Naomi's taking this title. Well, a good out here by the company is to just have Tiffany Stratton, who feels like she was just done wrong by Naomi last week, and Tiffany feels that it's Tiffy time. It should not be Naomi time. Tiffany Stratton somehow interferes, interjects herself into this twosome to make it a threesome, and boom, there you go. Triple threat. I usually don't like schmaz matches, by the way. But it doesn't look like we're going to get Tiffany Stratton versus Bayley one-on-one at Backlash in France. So let's just do the triple threat. That'd be hella fun. And regardless, I still somehow, in a roundabout way, I still get to see Tiffany versus Bayley. Relax, guys. Tiffany Stratton doesn't need to collect all these W's yet. And Tiffany Stratton does not need to be a champion. Not anytime soon. Just involve Tiffany in really good storylines. And unless she's going to be a full-fledged face, have her lose big matchups, not just random Smackdown matchups. Like last week losing against Naomi, I was not a fan of that. If they turn it into this triple threat or it launches Tiffany to a title match, okay. I'm not a fan of Tiffany just losing random Smackdown matches. But if you're going to have Tiffany and Bayley at a pay-per-view PLE, yes, put her in a PLE with Bayley, of course she should be losing. It'd be phenomenal. Tiffany Stratton will be off the charts. Relax, everybody. It's going to be all right. It's a big matchup tonight. I expect Tiffany Stratton, or I would hope this company does the right thing. Insert Tiffany Stratton. Also, we do expect new tag team championships tonight. Monday Night Raw, Paul Levesque McMahon came out and introduced new titles. It was long overdue. The Smackdown and the Raw former titles, the tag titles, they look like crushed currency, crushed pennies, and crushed dimes or crushed nickels. It looked like they took United States change, currency, and they just crushed it up some more and they made them into titles. It was so hideous. And at WWE World at WrestleMania a couple weeks ago, Philadelphia, I was able to see those titles up close, and they're even more hideous up close. Just bad. I'm so glad there's new titles. I'm not a big fan of these new ones. They're not that sexy, but anything is a massive upgrade from what we had. We do expect SmackDown's title holders, just like R-Truth and Miz got new titles Monday night. We expect Austin Theory and Grayson Waller to get new shiny toys tonight. New championships. We expect Paul Levesque McMahon and Nick Aldis, the general manager of SmackDown, to deliver those new titles. Also, a fatal 4-way tag team match for an opportunity at the tag titles has already been announced. The Street Profits will take on AOP, who will take on New Catch Republic to face LDF. Now, if this sounds familiar, it's what WWE does. This is all they do, especially for the tag team division. How do we come up with number one contenders? We don't want to spend too much time getting creative and starting a really fun storyline, so we're just going to put all of the talent in the ring together, have a multi-person schmaz match every single time we need number one contenders, and that's how we'll come up with the opponents. That's not fun. It's just a schmaz. We come up with names, and that's all it is. The match is set. There's no fun. There's no story behind it. I just wish WWE would just bypass all of this. Just pick one of these teams, whoever you want it to be. Who's the champions? They're heels, Theory and Waller. So pick a face team, okay? Profits or faces again. Deal. The Profits. Right last week, you just start something huge with Waller, Theory, and the Profits. Or New Catch Republic. And you just start a fun storyline behind the scenes, backstage, in the parking lot, on the roof, in the boiler room. I don't care where. But from the jump last week, you get us excited to see these two teams with the titles on the line. Instead, we're just going to play this game where we don't know who it is. We're just going to put a bunch of teams in there. Whoever wins, there's the title match. Wow, I can't wait to whip out my wallet, give you the credit card to watch this PLE because I got to see who wins this tag match. There's no reason to care. We do this all the time. Mini tournaments or multi-person schmaz matches. Every single time we need a number one contender. There's no incentive. Like let's peel that theory back, and not Austin Theory. Let's peel this back of why this is not fun. For the talent, they don't have to do anything. Even if they lose these matches, they just gotta wait a few weeks. And when it's time to announce a new number one contender, they know they're going to be right back into another multi-person schmaz. Every month, you're going to have an opportunity. Every month, you're going to be put into these multi-tag team schmaz matches. Every single month. I can't tell you how many times the Street Profits have been involved in a multi-person schmaz number one contenders match. It's nauseating. Stop. But we're going to see another one tonight because they just don't want to get creative. And that's why no matter how many good tag teams you have, you'll never truly have a fun, intriguing tag team division. You can have all the best tag teams in the world, but to have a true division, you would have to have people caring about it. Also, the company looks to highlight Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair, this new tag team. Damn, if you are going to start a tag team division, this one on the women's side, that would be your foundation, right? That would be the core of it. Cargill and Bianca? Who's taking them out? Ain't nobody. Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, we look to be highlighted tonight. And Braun Breaker, who last week, strangely, just destroyed... to the moon. I can't even think of his name now, and he's an awesome dude. Cameron Grimes. What happened to Cameron Grimes? This dude he can talk on the mic, he can carry storylines, he's good in the ring. Levesque McMahon just doesn't care about him. He got a jobber entrance last week, and then he got totally jobbed out to Braun Breaker. So we expect Breaker to continue to look like that badass. As long as they keep Baron Corbin away, that's not needed. Whether he stays in NXT or you just give him Das Boot, he does not need to be an anchor to Braun Breaker. Time out. I almost forgot to mention the massive storyline we expect to keep developing tonight, which is Solo Sikoa, Tonga, and Paul Heyman. The bloodline implosion or the separation, right? Which will eventually form two bloodlines like the NWO Black and White and the Wolfpack. We expect that to continue tonight. And it's going to be interesting to see how much WWE puts into this segment tonight with Paul, Solo, and Tama Tonga. What new developments? You know, it's interesting to see. Does WWE really have a full-fledged plan, or are they kind of just winging it, right? They have a general way they want to go, right? Get Roman out of that spot. Solo and The Rock can work together in the future. But they really don't have all the fine details. Or do they? We're going to find out a lot tonight, man. Or is this just going to be one of those like filler things, where we get a whole lot of nothing? It really started big time last week. We got a whole lot of nothing this week, and we just got to be patient for just a bigger parts of this story to develop. We'll see. It's going to be a big segment regardless tonight, just to see how much WWE really has in its arsenal for this storyline. So, Solo, Tonga, Paul Heyman, any word? Or do we see Jacob Fatu yet? Or are we going to hold off on that? We'll see. All right, that's what I got for you, man. You guys should have plenty of time by the time you caught this entire upload to do whatever else you got to do and still make it in time for SmackDown tonight. Sometime this weekend, of course, we will have the review of SmackDown. So just stay locked on the channel. You should have smashed all the bells down below anyway, the notifications, all that. You'll know when I put out that review. So until next time, and there will be that next time, BC and his unit saying check you. Peace.